The Republicans are putting forth some very radical and offensive positions when it comes to women's lives, women's reproductive health, women's employment, women's opportunities. So I think we'll let the Republicans, go back and forth with each other. But I want to point out there's really not that much difference in the policies that they are proposing when it comes to American women.
There is at this moment no truth to rumor going around that Hillary Clinton is already looking into her post-election day options with an application to technical school in order to become a master at something she seems to have a casual knowledge of at the moment, how to permanently wipe a computer hard drive and ensure there is no chance any shred of information is left on those pesky hard drives. The only real issue is she might have to first intern as phone tech support and at the moment does not seem interested in relocating to New Delhi. Cue the political animal then for a snap back to reality. Republican strategist and professor at Georgetown University, Bradley Blakeman. You'll never get an intro like that again in your life, Bradley, so here we go. Is it not fair to say that we are at a point right now where if the Clinton campaign is smart, they are no longer trying to answer questions, they're trying to find a scapegoat?
There's no question about it, but unfortunately, there's nobody to blame but themselves. And like every Clinton scandal, there is a vast right-wing conspiracy. These are all self-inflicted wounds. Bill's was in the White House when he lied under oath, and Hillary now with choosing to not release her server. We also know that there was classified emails already that were contained on that server. And the FBI has stepped in, and they basically told Hillary, you can give it to us, or we can get a warrant. So this whole idea of her voluntarily now giving up her server is nonsense. She had no choice. And now the question is, how good is the FBI forensic team to get to the bottom? And, remember Lois Lerner had lost emails that were suddenly recaptured. My faith is the FBI will get to the bottom of it.
I want to get to the FBI in a moment, but let's turn this around, if you will. Let's just say, for giggles and grins here, that there was a Republican who came up with a server, handed it over, and it had been professionally wiped clean of any usable information, and the thumb drive had only what was selectively chosen and then handed over. You and I both know if there was somebody from the left here wouldn't make any difference. They would be screaming to high heaven for some sort of a special prosecutor. We have to make it fair. You've got to bring the feds in on this one, and there needs to be a special prosecutor without fail, yes?
There's no question about it, and it would have been ridden out on a rail because the media would have turned on that person in a heartbeat. The problem is the Clintons had a couple months to try and make this thing go away. It only mushroomed, and now it's going to take on a life of its own as the FBI is involved. The FBI, I believe, under Comey are going to be a fair dealer. The question is, what will the political justice department do with the findings of the FBI?
Brad, let's look at some other things, too, that we really haven't talked much about. The FBI is going to get involved, but there had to be governmental agencies that during the time all of these servers were kept, these emails were out there, who were, in effect, helping Mrs. Clinton, helping the Secretary of State hide a lot of this. Aren't we talking about a much larger investigation here that could go from one end of Capitol Hill to the other?
There's no question about it, but it involves even more than that because people without clearances have handled this information, including her own lawyer. If your lawyer doesn't have clearances, he has no right to classified information, the same as those personal individuals not connected with government who are servicing those emails have no right to see the emails if they're classified. And again, we're in Clinton speak. Bill said it depends under what the definition of is. Well, now we have what is the definition of classified, because Hillary is now parsing those words to say it was not classified at the time, which is nonsense.
All right, now let's switch gears because we could sit here and we could basically say the same thing over and over again. There needs to be an investigation. Let's look at something else on the left here, Brad. Martin O'Malley and Bernie Sanders. I find it fascinating that there's a rumble going around that the two of them may just decide to have their own debates and cut out Hillary Clinton. Now, do you think that's a good idea for them? And do you think that does any damage at all to the Clintons, or they would just go ahead and do what you want, we don't care?
No, I think it's a great opportunity for them to showcase the fact that Hillary is in a three-person race, and she refuses to take the stage, unlike the Republicans, who had two debates. They had a minor debate for those who didn't make the threshold of the primetime debate. Republicans are willing to show up anytime, anywhere, but Hillary is not going to show up at all. I would have an empty chair on stage with her name on it and maybe an email server on top of it. And they should go at it, and they're going to get attention for doing it.
Well, if you're lucky, you get Clint Eastwood to go ahead and be on stage as well and introduce the empty chair. Just out of your own personal opinion, Brad, if you were to take Bernie Sanders and Martin O'Malley, and if they were to get on stage with Hillary Clinton, out of the two of them, which one do you think would make her sweat more?
I think Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders has a great appeal to the far fringe of the party, which can't stand Hillary. And remember, Bernie Sanders is drawing big crowds, but they're in cities that are left cities. He's not in mainstream America. He's preaching to the choir. But Hillary is seen as somebody who's really deserted their party. So I think Bernie Sanders can give her a real run for her money when they're on the stage toe-to-toe.
All right, Brad, I only got 30 seconds left. I got to hit you with this to end out. Al Gore may be running for president again. First of all, his friends say, not true, nothing to it. He's not thinking. Don't you just know that there's people who go, oh, please, please run for president?
Oh, absolutely. And we wouldn't be talking about Al Gore if, in fact, Hillary was not so weakened. And Al, the world's coming to an end, Gore would be a fantastic entry into this race. It would be a gift to Republicans because he'd rehash the 2000 sore loser man rhetoric that he assailed back then, when even to this day Democrats will tell you he won that race. So he'd be a welcome participant, as would Joe Biden. Can't wait.
Well, think about it this way, Brad. He could look at Mrs. Clinton across the stage on a debate and say, look, I invented the internet, and I also have some great technical support for you. Just in case you need it, I know how to get all the information back. That would be priceless indeed. Bradley Blakeman, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend. Coming up next, no one delivers a better slice of daily Americana on the radio than the former congressman and intelligence chairman. Coming up next on The Hard Line.